Hello everyone, and welcome to the first part of our Giza webinar series on Tekla integration. I want to thank everyone for taking the time out of their schedules to be here and to learn more about Giza. My name is Ben Vossmeyer, and I'm a software specialist here at Giza. And I'll be running you through how Giza can interact with Tekla. In this first part, I'll be going over how to set up a Tekla model for use with Giza, as well as some other basic features that Giza can do. If you have any questions during the webinar, please send them through the question form on screen, and we will respond to you after the webinar. I want to start by giving some basic information about how Giza can interact with Tekla. Using Giza, you can grab connections from your Tekla model, run all of the calculations, design the connection, and then put the newly designed connection back into the Tekla model. Currently, we support Tekla structures versions 18 to 2017, along with 129 different connection configurations, including shear, moment, and vertical brace connections. Our list of supported connections is constantly growing as we continue to add connections that our users need. But before Giza can retrieve connections from Tekla, a few things need to be done. I've opened up a simple model here that I've made in Tekla structures version 2017. And in addition to connection information, Giza also grabs the job information from the Tekla model, so we need to set up our project properties. So the three important fields that Giza grabs from this section are the project number, which we'll label 2017, the project name, which we'll name Giza, and the info2 down here, which we'll name GZA. This is the connection code. Giza also grabs information from the user-defined attributes for the model. Under the Fabrication Information tab, Giza will grab the fabricator name. When you install Giza, several things will also be added to Tekla structures. Also in the user-defined attributes is the Giza Project Properties tab. This will automatically appear when you install Giza. The first two boxes are for the design method and for your reference. Both of these are very important when designing your connections. Giza also supports the New York City building code, so you can select that under the addition of building code. The boxes below that define some default values when you're designing your connections for this job. These are things like which %UDL to use if there's no load given on the beam. On the right, you can set your load criteria for different beams if there are no loads given on the model. And once these project properties are filled out, I can move on to our model. I've set up a basic model without connections or loads, just to show you how to prepare it for Giza. Whenever a connection is retrieved from the model, Giza will grab the connection information, as well as the information on the beam's user-defined attributes, like its loads. Any loads on the beam should be entered in the End Conditions tab, so we'll go ahead and enter 50 kips for this side of the beam. If there are no loads entered, Giza will use the %UDL that's defined in the project properties, like we saw before. And if those are left blank, Giza will default to 50% UDL. The Giza End Conditions tab is where Giza calculations are applied. Most of these will be automatically filled in when you design connections in Giza. But the primary load section is for defining loads for columns on separate stories. If you'd like to individually assign the New York City building code to a specific beam, you can do that in the Giza Building Code tab. To design a connection using Giza, there must be a connection already in the model, and this can just be any default connection. As I said earlier, Giza supports 129 different connections, and the full list of connections and components that Giza supports is listed on our website. I'm going to add a simple shear connection to this beam so that Giza has something to grab. And now our model's been set up for use with Giza. But before I transfer the connections to Giza, I'd like to go over a few other features that Giza has to offer. Along with the supported Tekla components, Giza also comes with a variety of components to expand the connection library. When installing Giza, you're given the option to also install Giza custom components, and they can be found by opening the connection library and searching for Giza. For example, we have the Giza 1 component. And if I open this up, I can see that it's a simple shear connection, but it also has the ability to add a doubler plate or a horizontal stiffener. And these plugins you can add to your model just like any other component. So I'll go ahead and add this Giza 1 to the other side of the beam so that we have a completed beam here. With Tekla Structures version 2016 and up, you're given the ability to customize the toolbar ribbon at the top of the window here. And I want to go through how to add a Giza button on this ribbon. This will give you easy access to Giza whenever you need it. When editing the ribbons, you can also make your own user-defined command. I'll make one with an ID of Giza. When a command is created, there will be several properties here that need to be filled in, like the action. And for this, you'll need to find where Giza is located in your program files, and then copy that address into this box. And then we need a name. And this is just what's displayed on the ribbon. We're going to name it Giza. And we can also add a thumbnail from Tekla's library of all these images here. But if we'd like to add a custom thumbnail, it's in a different section that we'll get to in a moment. The tooltip isn't necessary, so I'm not going to fill that out. And once we're done here, we can apply these changes and go over to edit our ribbon and add our Giza button. We just drag and drop this Giza command anywhere on the ribbon and it'll be added. To add the logo, we'll need to go into design mode and add it that way. And when in design mode, if you click the icon that you want to edit, you can scroll down and get yourself a custom image. So we'll go ahead and find the image I have prepared for Giza. We can click that, and then that'll be added to our toolbar. And from here, we can then save our ribbon. Once everything is saved, we can go back to our model and see that the Giza icon has been added. And now that our Tekla model is set up, I'll use our new Giza icon to open it up and see if we're able to grab a connection. And it looks like our button was successful, and now we've got Tekla and Giza open at the same time. Now let's try and see if we can grab these connections into Giza. So what we'll need to do is highlight the whole model and then hit the Get button. So Giza has recognized that there are two connections, and we can highlight those in the model and see which one's which. And so now we should process them into Giza to see if the loads were received. So we'll hit the Process button. Oh, and since this is a new job, we'll go ahead and add all of that job information from the model into Giza. And it looks like both of our connections were retrieved into Giza. And you can see here that both of our loads were added. We put that 50 kips on one side of the beam, and then it's defaulting to 75% UDL as defined in our project properties for the other side of the beam. So that about does it for the first part of this Giza Tekla webinar series. I know this first part was a bit short, but I promise you the next parts will be much more in-depth as we go into designing connections that we've retrieved from Tekla and then putting those designs back into Tekla. Once again, I want to thank everyone for spending the time to learn more about Giza and coming to view this webinar. If you have any questions now, feel free to leave them in the questions box here on screen, and we will answer them after the webinar. Or our information is on our website to contact us. You can either call our office or you can submit an inquiry right there on the website, and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. Thanks, and have a wonderful day.